Hello everyone, welcome to Bajirao Ias Academy interview guidance program. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about a new spaceport, that is being launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So we all know that ISRO has one spaceport. Okay, so ISRO had one spaceport in Sriharikota in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so recently there was another site that was found and that could have similar applications, so that could help us develop a new spaceport similar to Sriharikota. So that is Kulasekarapattanam spaceport in the state of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so this is southern part of Tamil Nadu, that is called as Kulasekarapattanam spaceport. Recently, it is in news because Rohini sounding rocket was launched from the mobile launch pad. So this is particularly to mark the commencement of physical work on the Kulasekarapattanam spaceport. Okay, so this Kulasekarapattanam is in Thoothukudi district of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so the Kulasekarapattanam lies in Thoothukudi district of Tamil Nadu. This is the southern part of Tamil Nadu, and this new spaceport is also in news because recently when Prime Minister Narendra Modi went to inaugurate this Kulasekarapattanam spaceport, Tamil Nadu government, particularly one minister, had published an advertisement. Okay, so this particular advertisement had a rocket. Okay, so this particular advertisement had a rocket with a Chinese flag. Okay, so with a Chinese flag, and that is where it become a news. It become a major news that the Tamil Nadu, that is the DMK government, had been openly publishing the Chinese flag on the advertisement that is published for celebrate the Kulasekarapattanam inaugural. Right? So because of this reason also, this Kulasekarapattanam spaceport is in news. So apart from that, so Rohini sounding rocket was launched from the mobile launch pad. So that is to mark the commencement of physical work on the Kulasekarapattanam spaceport. So the geographical location of this Kulasekarapattanam is in Thoothukudi district of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so what was its role? This new spaceport's role. So it is considered as ISRO's second satellite launch facility, and it would be completed within 2 years to launch the SSLV in order, right? So it would be completed within 2 years. So what is the first spaceport of ISRO? That is in Sriharikota. Okay, Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota of Andhra Pradesh, and that is the first satellite launch station or launch facility of the ISRO. Okay, so this second facility of ISRO, that is Kulasekarapattanam spaceport, will have the capacity to launch 24 satellites every year. Okay, so this is the capacity of this second satellite launch facility in Kulasekarapattanam. So however, it had certain geographical advantages. So what are those geographical advantages? When we talk about the geographical advantages, so it can head straight in the southern direction, right? So without a dog leg maneuver and closer to the equator, right? So whenever there is a space station, so it is very often preferred that it should be close to the equator. Okay, so if you look at the map, this is Sriharikota and this is this Kulasekarapattanam spaceport. Okay, so actually whenever it is near to the equator, it could reduce the time and fuel wastage. Okay, so whenever it is near to the spaceport is near to the equator, there is a probability that it could significantly reduce the time and fuel wastage, and because of this reason, the location of Kulasekarapattanam is actually considered as a very significant, a very important. Okay, so this will be considered as a second spaceport, and this will be used for launching smaller rockets. Okay, so its capacity is it can launch around 24 satellites into the space every year. So what's the difference? We will try to understand the difference briefly. So this dogleg maneuver is a sharp turn that causes the rocket to deviate from a straight line a straight flight path. So this could be considered as a dog leg maneuver, and in this dog leg maneuver, so generally there is a need to take a sharp turn, so that causes rocket to deviate from a straight flight path. Okay, so that could deviate the rocket from a straight path. Okay, so this maneuver requires more fuel. Okay, so if you look at this maneuver of from the Sriharikota, right, so it has been taking a sharp turn, so therefore this particular maneuver requires more fuel in the rocket, so which eats into the payload capacity. For example, this is considered as the payload of that particular launch vehicle, right? So when we are using more fuel in a particular rocket, so that could significantly reduces the payload capacity of the rocket. However, with the Kulasekara spaceport, there is no need for this dogleg maneuver. Okay, so the launch vehicle may not be required to perform this dogleg maneuver, and this is also very close to equator also. So therefore, it could save significant time, as well as it could also reduces the fuel wastage, and it could significantly increases the payload capacity. And this is the advantage of this Kulasekara spaceport. Okay, so please understand, when rockets are launched from this Kulasekara spaceport, this dogleg maneuver is not required because they fly in this straight path, and there is no land mass also along the flight path in the southward direction, and in case if it fails, it directly falls in the sea. Okay, so that could also minimize significant damages with respect to the space launches from the Kulasekara. So in popular missions such as polar satellite launch vehicles from Sriharikota, so it must perform a dog leg maneuver to avoid flying over Sri Lanka. Okay, so to protect it from rocket debris. For example, imagine if it flies in a direct path. Okay, so if it is a direct path, so what happens generally, rocket debris fall on Sri Lanka, so that could cause huge damage in Sri Lanka. So in order to avoid such damage, so generally whenever rockets which are being launched from Sriharikota, they have to perform this dog leg maneuver to avoid such damage to Sri Lanka's civilian population. However, with respect to this Kulasekara spaceport, there is no need to conduct such a dog leg maneuver, so therefore it could significantly reduces the fuel cost, time, and it could also reduces the damages that can be caused to the civilian population because of the debris. Okay, so the payload capacity could also be significantly increased. So because of these advantages, Kulasekara is selected as a new space port. Now it has a certain economic significance. So if we talk about the economic significance, it is considered relatively closer to ISRO's propulsion research complex. Okay, so this propulsion research complex is located in Mahendragiri, that is in Tirunelveli district of Tamil Nadu. So therefore, the cost of these launches could be significantly reduced, and after that it also makes it easier to transport the rocket components safely in shorter times, thus reducing the costs which are being involved. This is the second major advantage. So after that, we should also talk about the safety considerations of this particular launch vehicle. Okay, so if you look at the proximity of this Kulasekara to the eastern coastline of India are safer. So if any failure takes place from a launch vehicle that is launched from the Kulasekara spaceport, so the debris will fall harmlessly in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so it will not cause any damage to the civilian population, right? So this is another major advantage of the Kulasekara, and after that it also promotes the development of the region, because a number of allied industries will come up in the neighborhood, so that will create around thousands of jobs in those areas. Okay, so this is also a very significant aspect. Now we'll try to understand the quick facts about these satellites and satellite launch vehicles. First and foremost, please understand what are geostationary satellites. So geostationary satellites are primarily used for communication purposes, or they are also called as communication satellites. So these communication satellites are primarily used for scientific research. So scientific research in the sense that International Space Station, which are placed in the orbit that are parallel to equator. So this is the geostationary satellites. Okay, launching these geostationary satellites from the sites near the equator towards the east direction will get an initial boost equal to the velocity of the Earth's surface. So after that, there are polar satellites also. So they are placed in polar orbits moving across the equator in north-south direction. Okay, so this is the actual polar satellite, so that moves across the equator, and they are generally launched southward or northward direction. Okay, so they're either launched southward direction or northward direction. These are considered as polar satellites, so therefore they cannot take advantage of the Earth's rotation. On the other hand, these geostationary satellites would take the help of Earth's rotation, right? So they would take the help of Earth's rotation, and it could significantly boost the velocity of those launch vehicles. However, there are certain small satellite launch vehicles also. So these small satellite launch vehicles are actually designed to launch lightweight satellites. So lightweight satellites in the sense that less than 500 kg into the lower Earth orbits at lower cost. Okay, so these are different satellite types. Okay, so this is about the Kulasekara new spaceport and its advantages over the Sriharikota space station. Okay, so we will also discuss briefly about the next important topic, that is Milan Naval Exercise 2024. Okay, so the 12th edition of this Milan exercise held recently in Visakhapatnam, and Visakhapatnam is also called as City of Destiny. Okay, so Visakhapatnam is known as City of Destiny, and this Milan Naval Exercise is the 12th edition of Milan exercise. Now, this particular exercise has certain aims. So, okay, so what is the aim of this project, this particular exercise? So this will enhance the professional interaction between friendly navies and gain experience in multilateral large force operations at sea. Okay, so this is essentially enhance the professional interaction between the navies of different countries, especially the friendly countries, India's friendly countries, and it would also gain experience from multilateral large force operations at sea. Okay, so what is the theme of this Milan exercise? So it has a theme, so that is camaraderie, cohesion and camaraderie, cohesion and collaboration, right? So this is actually the theme of Milan exercise. And after that, this particular Milan exercise has two phases. First phase is considered as the harbor phase. Okay, so in this harbor phase, it will have tabletop exercises, interactions with young officers, and outstation cultural visits and international city parades. Okay, so this is the first phase of the Milan exercise, and however it also has the second phase. So second phase is considered as the sea phase, right? So in this second phase, that is sea phase, Indian Navy ships such as aircraft, submarines, they are primarily led by indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. Okay, so please remember INS Vikrant is a indigenous aircraft carrier, and so far we have 2 aircraft carriers. And it also includes advanced air defense operations, anti-submarine warfare, anti-surface warfare operations, and war at sea, right? So before discussing the significance of Milan exercise, first try and understand this Milan exercise. What exactly is Milan exercise, when it has originated? So the Milan exercise was originated in the year 1995, right? So it was originally conceived in line with India's Look East policy. We all know that earlier PV Narasimha Rao government had launched the Look East policy. Okay, so PV Narasimha Rao government had launched the Look East policy. Now after 2014, this NDA government changed Look East policy into the Act East policy. However, this Milan exercise was conceived during the Look East policy. Okay, so host country of Milan exercise is India, and its duration is biennial. Okay, so its duration is biennial, and it is a multinational naval exercise. So different nations used to take part in the naval exercise. So the founding members of this Milan naval exercise, including India, Indonesia, Singapore, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. So all these countries are South Asian countries as well as the Southeast Asian countries, right? So it has a certain aim. So the aim is enhancing cooperation and interoperability among the navies of different participating countries. So this is the overall aim and objective of the Milan exercise. So this particular exercise includes professional exercises, seminars, social events, and sporting fixtures as well. Okay, so this is briefly about the Milan naval exercise, right? So it had a significance also. So what is the significance of Milan exercise? So it will provide an opportunity to share the operational insights in harbor, hone sea skills at sea, enhance camaraderie, and also supports and also support the sports fields and gain exposure to the Indian culture as well. So these are the benefits or the advantages with the Milan naval exercise. So it could also strengthen the Southeast Asian countries' navies, because now India is considered as a net security provider. So therefore India plays a very important role in humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, anti-maritime piracy operations at sea. Okay, so disaster relief. So therefore in this context it could strengthen the Southeast Asian nation countries. So security is security of vital sea lanes of communication. So this is sea lanes of communication in the Indian Ocean is very important for energy and trade interests of all those countries in the region, because majority of the energy vessels passes through this Indian Ocean, and not just the energy vessels but also trade routes, important maritime trade routes such as Malacca Straits are also located in this region. So therefore it could strengthen the Southeast Asian countries. And apart from that, it also helps in expanding the naval engagements beyond the traditional geographical neighborhoods, because multiple countries have started engaging in the Milan exercise. For example, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand were part of this Milan exercise in the years 1995, and Malaysia is part of the Milan exercise from 1997. Myanmar, Brunei, Cambodia, Philippines, Vietnam. So all Southeast Asian countries and East Asian countries, primarily the countries which are part of ASEAN, started becoming part of this Milan naval exercise that is led by India, right? So however, if you look at the sea lanes of communication, so the Malacca Strait, so this is the region. So this narrow region is considered as the Malacca region, where I have highlighted. So this region is considered as the Malacca Strait. So the Malacca Strait links the Andaman Sea, right? So this is the Andaman Sea. Okay, so the Malacca Strait links the Andaman Sea of the Eastern Indian Ocean to the South China Sea, serves as a transit of over 40% of the global commodities, and both Malacca Strait and Andaman Sea is very, very important for India. For example, China has been building Isthmus of Kra, okay, from this region to avoid this Malacca dilemma. So what if in case India blocks this Malacca Strait? So therefore, in order to avoid this Malacca Strait, China has been building this Isthmus of Kra over Thailand, right? So Andaman Sea is also largely controlled by India, and even Malacca Strait also has a huge Indian presence, because in the Sumatra island, India has this Sabang naval base. So because of this region, Indian Navy had a huge role to play in the securing sea lanes of communication in this region. Okay, so that's all about the Milan naval exercise. Okay, so thank you.